Hey everybody, Dave Laird here with DCS, and I'm here to introduce you to my circle targets. Now the circle targets can be used a variety of different ways, but the basics of this target is that it's going to be shot from 3 yards. So whether you're doing dry fire in your home, you're practicing with airsoft in your backyard, or you're doing live fire at the range, since we're working on consistency with our draw to first shot, this is an excellent target that uses exactly 50 rounds or one box of ammunition to practice one very specific drill, which is your draw stroke to your first shot on target. It's a self-grading exercise, so once you understand how to use the targets, you understand what you're supposed to be focused and concentrated on, you can continue to seek self-improvement, and you'll be able to read the target and know what it is that you need to work on to get better at. Okay, so consistency is really crucial through the entire process, and so I want you focused on the process and not the results. If you focus on the process, you'll get the results. If you get distracted anywhere along the way, then you're not going to have the results that you want. So let's get started. All right, so first of all, you have to understand the proper grip. The proper grip means that I want to have a firearm that fits my hand, that allows me to have complete coverage across the back strap like so, that my fingers are putting pressure on the front strap only. If your fingers are so large on the firearm that you're using that they're beginning to wrap around, or if you have to wrap your hand around, sacrificing the back strap to get your finger where it can access the trigger, then this probably doesn't suit you very well, doesn't fit you very well, and now your natural body mechanics are going to cause that gun to turn while you're pressing your trigger. So we want to make sure we have a proper fitting firearm, that our palm is completely covering the back strap, that we have our fingers only providing pressure on the front strap and not the side panel, that I can access my trigger and I'm not delving so deep into the trigger that my knuckle is not parallel with the slide. Okay, once we have that proper fit, then we can start working on our draw stroke. So stance isn't all that important to me. I just want your hips and your shoulders squared up to your target. The holster draw that I teach is, in my opinion, the most efficient and consistent, depending on the distance from your target, where you need to draw from. We can get into more of that during class. So step one, we want to move both arms. Okay, I want you to start training your support hand to remove cover and concealment now, even though we're doing this from the open. So your support hand is going to move up to your chest, your dominant hand is going to move down and completely cover that back strap. Whatever grip you get from the holster is the only grip you're going to have, so you can't modify it or change it once you come out. So if you find yourself reaching up and you're not in the correct position, simply start over again. Just reset. We don't want to myelinate or train the bad habits and try to rescue the draw stroke. So again, I'm focused on my process. My hand's moving. I'm getting my palm all the way around behind the back strap, that I'm getting high into the web of my hand, that my finger is extended. Once I have that proper grip, then I can remove the firearm from the holster. Notice I'm keeping it in contact with my body, so again, I can be consistent with my draw stroke. It's not coming off my body and the muzzle isn't changing directions, because then I can't get consistency. I don't know where this is floating off my body. So keeping it in contact with my body, I'm raising it up all the way up here to my pectoral muscle until my slide is flat. Now, as high as I can already see my front sight out of my peripheral. This is where our support hand is going to slide underneath like a knife hand, knuckles deep. So once I hit that knuckle, I know that I've gone in far enough. From here, that's where the fingers get pinned. So you notice I'm not building a full grip, because my shoulders will curl and I get tense, and so that's going to slow all my muscles down. I just need to come in knuckles deep, pin those fingers in place. Now as I drive forward, I'm rotating my support hand thumb forward, okay, just like I would if I was holding a rifle. I'm rotating that thumb forward, driving my palm up as high along the frame or slide as possible. And I'm starting to align my sights. I have my front sight on the 4, I can drive my rear sights up on top of the number 4. Now once I have my sight picture built, I've crept into the pressure wall. I want to try and focus on 90% of the trigger and finish the 10. Had a really nice good click there, so it was an awesome dry fire. I'll gently rack it to reset my trigger and reholster the exact same way. Come back, finish that process, get back in the holster. So let's do that one more time dry the whole way through, and then we'll start working on our live fire. So I'm getting that proper grip all the way behind the back strap. I'm driving it up high into my pectoral muscle. My slide is flat. I'm sliding my fingers of my support hand underneath, and I'm digging those fingers in. So I'm driving this gun into my body. If somebody wanted to fight for me, fight for it right now next to me. I've got complete control over this device. Now I'm going to try and drive that front sight out in front of my eyes, building my support hand grip. Begin getting to my pressure wall. 90-10, sights are perfect. Press through my trigger, and no flinching, anticipating, no diving, no manipulation. All right, let's try that again. So notice I'm focused entirely on the process. I typically coach myself in my head: right hand, left hand, sights, trigger. Right hand, left hand, sights, trigger. This little mantra helps remind me what I need to be focused on and when through the whole process. So right hand, left hand, sights, trigger. Get right back onto the pressure wall, reestablish my sights, make a conscious decision to move my finger and drive it back into the holster the same way I took it out. Notice I don't ever sacrifice that grip. I'm not jamming it in my holster, I'm not in a rush to get it in, and I'm not letting go of it and pushing it in the last moment. I'm maintaining that same grip, so I want to myelinate one way the whole way out and myelinate the same way the whole way back. I'm going to do this for 10 rounds on the number 4, and if I can keep all those shots inside the number 4, then congratulations, I graduate. I now get to do 10 rounds in each of the 2-inch circles. That's probably enough to demonstrate that I got good consistency in the 4. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the number 2s. I'm still using my iron sight gun. Now you notice I'm starting to pick up the pace. I'm getting more comfortable shooting and engaging the number 2 target. So if I can't do it slow, there's no point in speeding it up. If I can do it slow, now I want to start working on increasing my speed. That draw to first shot, I want it to be faster, still keeping a nice tight grip. So if I start to see my group fall apart, I'm going to slow down, focus on the process once again, get it tight, and then I'm going to try and speed it up. So your speed has to do with how comfortable you are. So if you're not comfortable, if you're still fishing and trying to look for things, then keep it slow until it feels completely comfortable, like a smooth, natural motion. Notice my shoulders aren't getting hinged, my head's not dipping. I don't need to put any additional movement into this. I just need to reach up, grab my firearm, drive it out onto the target, compress that trigger so I'm down to the last 10%, let that trigger break, get right back on the pressure wall, and reholster it. One smooth motion in and out. All right, didn't bring any extra mags for that one, so we'll just switch over to my red dot gun, my actual daily carry, which happens to be a Glock 48. The nice thing about going to a class using a Glock 19, my daily carry is a Glock 48, so because it's made by the same manufacturer, I had the same grip angle, so everything that I've learned on a 19 will transfer directly over to my Glock 48. You'll also notice I'm carrying appendix, so for those of you who carry appendix or have a red dot, something's going to change here in the sense that yes, I reach up forward, but I still drive back to the same retention point, driving my fingers in, drive straight out of the same place. Now the only other thing that changes is I'm using a red dot instead of iron sights. So I need to be aware that there's a slight difference over hyper bore. I'm using the Holosun 407K, and it happens to be green. So I'm using the circle and the dot. And the base of the circle crosshair is 0'd at 3 yards, and the dot is 0'd for 25. So only at 3 yards do I use the base of that and then any distance behind that, dot on dot, press the trigger, I'm good to go. All right, so I'm going to continue on the 2. Now that I switched to appendix and a red dot, my sight picture is a little different, but I'm trying to get nice and smooth, collapse that trigger to 90% so I can finish. I want that finish to happen as soon as I have my sight, so my arms may or may not be fully extended, but I should have a good sight picture, 90% of my trigger done, and if it is, that's when I want to let that trigger finish its 10 right to the target. So you notice I'm not hanging out there. I want to try and make it one smooth, continuous motion. All right, so I put 10 rounds into 4, both of the 2s. Now I'm going to start working on the 1s. Again, I'll start slow, gradually increasing speed as I get more comfortable. So again, this isn't something I rush. I want to focus on the process. Right hand, left hand, sights, trigger, right in the bullseye. That's what we're looking for. Notice I paused a little bit because I'm feeling that trigger. I'm trying to find that 90-10. All right, climbed out of it a little bit. That's all on me. Back in it, we're good. So you notice when I hit it, I can gradually increase speed. And if I'm getting slightly out of where I want to be, then I need to slow it down, focus more on the process. That's looking awfully sexy. And so long as it's looking sexy, I can move on to my next number 1. All right, so that's your circle targets in a nutshell. It's a 3 yards. Everybody has 3 yards in your house. Anybody can get 3 yards at the range. 1 box of ammunition, 10 rounds in each circle. So for those of you that maybe have been training and practicing the fundamentals and you look really smooth and accurate like me, what can you do to increase the difficulty? Sure, you can add distance, but for me, I like to go on the shot timer next. Maybe I'll include cover and concealment. So now that support hand we've been training this whole time to make that movement simply has to snatch up your shirt, move it out of the way so you can get your grip. You're letting it go as you establish your secondary grip. You're getting in target, you're engaging the target. As you come back, you're sweeping away the cover, you're reholstering. So I might start this at 5 seconds per draw stroke and then gradually wean it down to where I get the 1 second draw stroke. So I'll just subtract 1 second each time all the way down to ensure that I can be fast and accurate. So I'll do that at the 4, then I'll go back to 5 seconds, do it on the 2, and then I'll go back to 5 seconds and start on the 1. So theoretically, with the same 50 rounds, if you're already really awesome with the fundamentals, you could probably put 5 rounds on each target, then go back through, do it all from concealment, add a timer to it, and try to get down to 1 second or less on each of those with another 5 rounds. Okay, thank you very much for joining us. By the way, you can go to Mantis and download these if you want to do dry fire at the house, but those targets from Mantis also work on you can use them for live fire. You can use airsoft in the backyard. It's one of my favorite things to do because airsoft at 3 yards will still puncture through the paper and the cardboard, and you can virtually buy any make and model airsoft out there in your natural firearm. The slides lock back to the rear. You get to experience recoil. They're a ton of fun. Okay. Also, you can download these targets with the instructions written on the back at my website, DCS.training. Go down to the footer. You'll see a little tiny red letters that say targets. Click on there. You'll find lots of our targets with the instructions written on the back. So if you forget anything at all that I said today, you got the written instructions in front of you. Thank you very much for joining us. Be sure to get your Mantis X and your Mantis Academy because those systems are really awesome, and I enjoy using them a lot. Even when I'm at work, I can be in the back office and I can just work on dry fires all day long with that stuff. So appreciate you.